and welcome to Cocojor channel. I'm Monica, and today we're going to be talking about challenges and how it's so important to have challenges. Maybe we can do it each month, or we can do it for one full year, 6 months. You be the one who create these challenges. And for order for us to go forward with a lot of our challenges, we should always put it into our intentions. And since the new moon is coming up in 1 week, falls on February the 1st, which is also Chinese New Year, and usually in the astrological way, really February is kind of like the new year. And so we tend to do a lot of things when January starts, right? But usually what January really kind of, for myself and for many, is we prepare ourselves. And so, for example, like my challenge for January was doing 30 days straight, or 31 days straight, of Bikram hot yoga, and today I'm on day 25, 26. And so this is really preparing my body and getting ready, because I've been doing it for 9-10 years, and it's something to really get myself mentally, physically, spiritually strong, because what's coming up in February, and I'm going to break it down and how we're going to walk through 3 things, is our journey. And when I say our journey, because 2022 is the start of a new journey, because the last 2 years we've been kind of held back in going forward because of, the pandemic. And I think right now everybody is already anxious to restart their engine, to start the new now. And so during this time and this journey, and these are just tips to start to write, and giving you a week ahead notice on our homework. Because this is one thing great about Cocojor channel, is that we talk about our courses that we commit to ourselves each month. And that's when we have the new moon, when we write our intention, and the full moon, when we say time to let go, so we can able to put in new things into our everyday journey. And so our journey, when we started, we really need to seek the truth. And so this time around, really sit down. We have 1 week to do this. Sit down and figure out, what is the truth? Do I really like hanging out with XYZ? Do I really like my diet that I've been doing? I went on this challenge, and I'm supposed to be on this shake diet, or this exercise regime, or, really be truthful to yourself, because if we don't fess up to that truthness, then we're gonna fall flat into disappointment, and then we don't continue the next challenge. My next challenge is working on orchids, because I started off back in LA, and my place had really no life. And so it was a beautiful lanai, and I created it as my own peaceful place where my dog Heaven would sit out there. I have my little, place where I could do my meditation with my whole bunch of gardens, and I started to get into orchids. And since I came back, I challenged myself to redo this whole entire place, and it's coming along, and I'm very, very happy 2 years later that I did take that challenge. And, really, it's a time for me to, whenever I have too much Zoom calls, or too much work on my plate, or too much everything, I step out and I really dig the dirt and get my hands dirty And that's when I get the aha moments of information. And the information source is really just pure source because I'm being truthful to myself to step back and not overwork myself, because that was one of the things that I had to learn. I mean, sometimes our habits, our behavior is good or bad, but we are, at the end of the day, we are creatures of bad habits because we always sometimes push ourselves way too much, or we are overachievers, or we just say we gotta do it because, we gotta live in the now. But it's really the truth on how you want to do. So we on seeking our journey, right? That's one step. Next is seeking the truth of how we want to walk on this journey, because we need to get organized, okay? And so the third step is, believe it or not, is called science. And the science on how we create our formula is how we're going to start to believe in the science that we create. Because science is something that we create from here, the source. And from the source, we create a system. And from the system, we create certain action and how to work the system that was all created. So each and every one of us have our own science and how we believe and how we're going to go forward in using these tools and these techniques. So those are the 1, 2, 3. Okay. Next is the vision. We have to have some kind of vision. It's like, for example, when we create our garden, we have to have some kind of vision of putting our vegetables here, mix it with some flowers over there. I mean, before when I started, I was too organized. But now I realize that I need to have certain herbs to go together with certain vegetables and certain flowers, because it's all a science in how Mother Nature works, right? We need the bees to pollinate it to make it into that fruit or vegetables or that flower, and that way we can go and enjoy it, whether it's a fruit, flower, or vegetables, right? So there is a science behind all of these steps that goes in. So we need to have a vision, because we've already got the journey, the truth on what we're going to work on, really work on. Because if we do unrealistic things, like we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, be really truthful to yourself. Like, okay, this year I'm really going to get a divorce. This year I'm really going to start working on my business. This year I'm really going to start working on self-care. So all of these things comes into these 3 categories, and right now we're on number 4, which is the vision. And once we have our vision and how we're going to look on our weight loss, in the next 2 months, we're going to do this. We're coming up on the first month. How much weight did we lose? Did we lose any pounds, or did we keep our weight, and how we jumped on a scale on the first? And so always remember, this is where the realistic truth comes in and say, okay, we screwed up, or we can improve, or we can do the same thing method, but just don't be too hard on yourself, okay? Because sometimes when we be too hard on yourself, the fall is faster and the fall is greater. And so if we use this formula and how to use these tools in the right way, then we are able to do on our number 5 thing, which is our challenge, okay? So our challenge is something that maybe, like for me, I did it before, this 30-day, 31-day challenge of straight Bikram yoga. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. But in between, I hurt my back, but I kept on doing it because I knew the science to certain formula and how to relieve this pain, because I've been dealing with it ever since I got into my car accident. And so all of this kind of plays part, but I don't push myself. You know, I was including walking with my yoga and stuff. And so finally I started yesterday because my back is feeling great, back into my walk. So next month, now I'm saying I'm not going to do the challenge, the Bikram Yoga challenge, and I'm going to start my new challenge, which is beautiful. Like starting to challenge to work on my orchids. My next one is starting to challenge and working on my teas. And so we can do these grateful challenge and how we can bring about things to improve ourselves, because challenges is really on how we can improve ourselves in a momentum way of doing things. And that's how when our behavior pattern starts changing, and that changes as well as our lifestyle changes. You know, once we start putting and implementing challenges into our system, into our science of how we're going to really work on this journey. And the last one is on this sequence of how we're going to do it is we need to open ourselves up to free will. Whoa, that is such a heavy, big word to use, because it is. Because we all got born into this world on free will. And we had the choice in how we're going to be kind of learning and developing our skills, our tools, ever since we took breath into this world. And as we develop our mind and our senses and our organs, you know, we breathe, we eat, we see things as a child, as a baby, as a child, as a toddler, and so forth, as we grow up into be kids, young adults, and older person. And this transition of things that we go is because we first started off with this word called free will. And so now, right now, what we have going on, and as we can see, whether, you know, we have been vaccinated or not vaccinated, or if we have done A or B or C or boosters, I don't know. But right now, the voices of freedom has gone tremendously up. And it's because we are getting much more conscious about where our free will is standing. And so putting together all of these is a lot of homework. That's why I'm doing this video a week before. And we can always use this tutorial is to give us a guide. And that's what I am. I'm literally a guide that I get from my sources and putting these information, putting these contents together so we can always use it when we need it. And it's like the tools in our toolbox. We can always use it when we need it. And so this is how we're going to go into, by using these 6 tools, this structure of how to, we can, 1 + 1 is 2, is just like the science of algebra, the science of math, the science of numbers. And the way we use this is because it goes through our system of vibration, right? Because once we set out our journey, we seek the truth, because that's all we want. Because the end game will let us understand our free will and what we want to do back into our journey. And this gives us, once again, all of this all equals to the 7th ending. I don't say ending, the 7th point is the higher mindset. Because every time we want to get to a next higher mindset. And by doing this, we need to put in these 6 tools for us to kind of get the rhythm. Well, I don't say kind of, it's really how you want to really put in your mindset and how you want to do this. And so I'm putting out this challenge for me to always bring in informations and tools that we can use. And this is just really part of what we have, like I said, all of this that's out here. And it's sometimes we need to go out and grab these free tools, such as we grab breath of air every day, breath of life every day, is to really start to put together these steps to help. We have courses that's coming up. We have free webinars. We also have these mini courses, as well as our 30-day challenge, which has been so successful because it's all about eating and praying and love, my EPL course. And so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and figure out what all of this is all going to be about. So this month, as we go forward on our journey, is to create all of these 6 steps, implement it into our intention, mix it all up, and voila, and see what we can create to plant our new seeds for the new moon coming up on February the 1st. And I'm going to put more information, so don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube, as well as our newsletter on our website at cocojorchannel.com or cocojor.com. We have so much coming up. I can't wait to share with you, and most of all, you take care and aloha.